Marketer of the Day, episode 700. Fresh inspiration. Live your best life and learn to trust yourself using the 3 pillars: workout, food, and mindset with Rhonda Liebig. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Marketer of the Day podcast. We are here with return guest Rhonda Liebig, and she was here at marketeroftheday.com/396. Her website is rhondaliebig.com. That's RHONDALIEBIG. And Rhonda has over 20 years of experience in the health industry, and she is known as the Energy, Revitalize, and Mindset Mentor, bringing freedom into your body and your cash flow. And after 20 years of being on medicine for hyperthyroid, Rhonda has learned to create a life in abundance, in freedom, and she is going to share her signature, not just something made up, but her signature 3 energy revitalized pillars that have helped her clients make massive changes in their mindset and connection with food. So Rhonda, glad to catch up, glad to have you back.
Robert, this is just so much fun. So I was 396, which is the episode. Now I'm 700. We just found out of the episode that I get to be with you here today. That probably didn't make any sense. But anyway, I'm having fun. I love being in your space, and I can't wait to share my signature. It's kind of made up, Robert. You said it wasn't made up, but you know, when you put something together, you feel that pain from clients, you feel that pain from within yourself, and it creates the space and the signature process. So I can't wait to share it with you.
Well, can't wait to hear about it. And you're so right that sometimes just the things that we pick up on the repeat patterns and the problems and the questions we keep seeing people having or asking about us sometimes shapes our own content or whatever our signature like thing we're known for. It sometimes comes to us, and we'd all like to think that, I came across this just from my years of research, but sometimes people bring it to us, right?
Yeah, well, being on medicine for almost 20 years for thyroid, to get off it, I did use the 3 energy revitalized pillars. I had to step in and be my best client, and it was painful. The things I was telling my clients to do, I realized how hard it was, because this is what my grandma would say, and I think it was the time, but I was half-assing it. And I don't swear a lot, but I think it might be my new thing. But I guess I was half-assing it. I was working out decently good since I was 14, but, not really listening to my body. I was eating, but, kind of. But I wasn't eating to take care of the thyroid because I was on medicine. So to get off the medicine, that was one of the things that I decided I can't half-ass it. I really have to step in. And that's where this journey started about 3 years ago. Deeply started.
Well, great. And I think that a lot of people are in a similar situation as this, where there's a million things going on, right? We're business owners, and sometimes the health takes a back seat because we got to make that money, have to fit everything in the schedule. And then sometimes things get bad over time. And then sometimes you put a Band-Aid on it by just like taking the medicine or taking the pill. And sometimes that is not sustainable. So you say that you're on this medicine for 20 years. And I mean, what was it like being on it? And then how did you know that you needed to get off it? And what was the process of getting off that?
It was a revelation when I first got on the medicine, because every time I would sit down, I pretty much would fall asleep. And I was very active and worked out, so I didn't understand why my body would just shut off. So when I first took the medicine, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I was an auditor at that time, so accounting, CPA.
Uh-oh. I think you lost audio.
I was working.
You're back.
I was working really hard, and I was traveling a lot, and also my mind. I was beating myself up a lot. And so I didn't know I was doing all this kind of stuff that was hard on my body. My body got depleted, got on medicine. Later on, I go into this health and wellness industry, and then I start noticing things because I was doing a lot of learnings around the kidneys and the liver, all the internal stuff in our body. And I started noticing lower back fatigue. My body was aching quite a bit in the lower back. I understood at that time it was getting worse and worse over the years. And directly I knew, oh my gosh, it's not good for me to be on this medicine, because when you're on medicine, it can be really challenging on the liver and the kidneys. And I'm not saying to get off of medicine. If you're listening to this, be careful. It's a process. But at that point, 3 years ago, I know I got to get off. And I need to prove something to myself that I can take better care of myself. I'm 50 right now. And I was thinking, I have so much more life to live. Like, we never know how long we're going to be here, because, we could go across the street and get hit or something, and maybe something turn with our health. But I believe in my deepest part of my cells that if we go on this journey and we learn to understand our body, learn how to release the stress in a deep way, not superficial. And that's where the journey came with that. I knew I had to get off of medicine. And I went on the journey, and it was quite scary, because I did something that I would not tell my other clients to do. I slowly got off. I got tested to see how everything was going. I said, I'm going to fully take myself off. Bam. I just totally took the pill away. And so I did have a lot of aches and pains, but you know what? 3 years now, my body is feeling so much better than it has probably than even in my 20s, because of all the stuff I was doing with barely sleeping, going to school, working, and all the stuff that I was doing. So there is definitely a reason to look at why you're on your medicine. What is it doing for you? What are you not stepping into? So maybe you could slowly get off your medicine, or just take a little bit less, but do it through your doctor, of course. And that was my reasoning, really step into it. And also, Robert, let's talk about the cash flow. Because I do want to align that, is that I was stopping myself a lot. Anytime I had an ache and pain, I would, through the cash flow, through business, to step in as an entrepreneur, I would feed my stress and feel my body in the wrong way. And it was stopping me, because I wasn't looking at my business also, and taking that vision also of where else, if I'm not taking care of my health, where else is it going? Usually there's strings tied to relationships, usually to the business part. And so it changed my business, and it changed the type of people I was working with. And that's why the health is essential, not just for making the cash flow and being in business, but let's take it deeper to live the best life that you can. Change the taste buds so that you crave everything that your body decently needs to get through everything.
And this is great stuff. And I think that, in general, we could all stand to examine whether it's taking the medicine or anything else in our life. If there's something that's always been there, maybe say, does that need to be that way? If I've been doing the same stuff for X number of years, what would be different if I just didn't do that one thing, or if I dialed it back a little bit? Or, there's always there's no downside in just thinking if things can be reconfigured. And, as you're explaining all that, it reminds me that, especially these last couple of years, I've really got it in my head finally that if I don't take a walk or a few walks every day, then the brain just doesn't work right, just however it is. And I've tried different things like just exercising and running, but just the walking in particular, like, there's some days when I'm just really down and I don't know why. And it's like, because I didn't take a walk that day. And then another thing that really comes to mind as you're explaining all that, about how everything's connected, and our health and our moods connected to the relationships and the business, that there are some things that we just need to do, or that are as a good idea in our business. And so what I can relate to is this podcast show, right? Your episode number 700. And as you can imagine, someday, we could celebrate, bust out the balloons, but some days I don't feel like doing it, right? Some days it's just not working. And for those days, that's when I have to remind myself to do that mental work and like remind myself like why I started and kind of tap back into those moments or those previous points in time when my mood is better. And I think that's just like a kind of thing that comes with practice. Because as you said, like when we're in our 20s, we might be like lacking in sleep and might be doing all sorts of stuff. But as we grow into our bodies over time, then we can listen to our bodies better. I mean, it's easy to think, oh, well, as I get older, my bones get creakier and I get more run down. But it's like, well, maybe you can, when you're in your 20s, you bounce back from everything. There's not much to listen to. But then as you grow into yourself, then you kind of know, like, should I speed up, slow down? Is my diet good? Should I be exercising more? It seems like getting older is a good thing, not a bad thing, like we might have thought all along.
Right. And I think what stops us from what I've been doing over these 20 years is what I see is trust. Like when you reevaluate something, trusting yourself, knowing that if you do something good, what stops people is, well, if I do that, I might be wasting my time. I may not get out of it what I want. I hear that so often. So if you think about it, the first thing is don't do something that you don't like. Make sure everything you do is that you love on it. And if you do that, your body's going to heal in any way that you have any aches and pains, like go for a walk. If you don't like really hard workouts, but you're putting yourself through that because you think you have to, take a step back. Figure out what makes you tick and trust that. Trust that your body is telling you something. And that's one of the hardest words to say, to feel, to do, to step into. But if there is, I would say that's one of the biggest things that I have learned that stops everybody from doing something. The New Year's resolutions, which we don't have to call it that, or restarting, making sure that the day is like almost like you're just starting off again. What are you going to do? The trust. Feeling that, yeah, I got this. When you get tired, take a moment, take a step away. And Robert, it's interesting about the brain, when you're talking about that, because us entrepreneurs, we can sit at our desk all day long because we're doing all these things. We're on the phone, we're on the computer, all this stuff, and we're loving on our passion. Then all of a sudden things happen. And the feeling depressed could be, my business isn't doing as well, or I'm not doing what I thought I should be doing. And that could be all wrong. You might be right in alignment, but your body may not be. So going for the walks is important. Getting the body moving, getting away from the desk. Or if you're on your feet all the time, stopping and stretching, or take a seat and take a couple breaths. But do something to keep the body going. Because if you do not do that, your brain chemically will start changing and your emotions will change around it. And it's a wormhole after that. And so getting older is a fabulous thing when you start taking this process. So I called this process the 3 energy revitalize pillars. So can I go into that, Robert?
Yes, please. That's the main attraction. That's the whole reason we're here, is to find out about these 3 pillars.
Oh my gosh, my arms up like, this is it. Okay, so this is the grand finale of excitement. Actually, it is for me, because I feel that we miss the boat when it comes to our health. That we just go for a good workout program, and the workout program is going good. Oh yes, I'm loving it. But what happens is your weight or your food or something just gets off of balance because you're focused only on one thing. So the first pillar is workout, which is good. Get the workout, but don't do it just alone. Because if you do it alone, there's nothing else to support it. So the second pillar would be food. Why not get in there and not go on the latest diet, but maybe it takes you to a base where you can start doing something different, but really listen to your body, learn how to eat for your body. So that would be maybe work with somebody like me that understands your body by asking questions, you learning to start listening to yourself, because food is an interesting journey and also emotional. The third pillar is a big one that wraps around everything, is the mindset, emotion. Now, when you have all 3 of those, workout, food, scrumptious, wholesome, excellent food, mindset that's just, you feel like you're going to kick butt that day, and every day you can get yourself into that space. I'm going to kick butt today. You get those three things and you ground them. And I call it grounding into Mother Earth. And you give yourself opportunity to tiptoe in and start playing with it. Start working with your calendar, making sure you get all three of those in there. You're going to have something of a strong, strong balance for the rest of your life that you get to build momentum on, that you get to be creative in, because now you're not on anybody's plan except yours once you learn to start listening to yourself and bringing those three pillars in.
You make it sound so simple. So we said workout, food, and mindset, emotion. And what I like what you said about that is to tiptoe into it, right? To not like make all these drastic lifestyle changes, like the New Year's resolution where people get super crazy for exactly 1 week and then fall back into old habits, or maybe even fall back even worse because they say, well, I worked out so hard, I'm never doing that again. All right, I ate healthy for 1 week. Now I'll make up for it by going back to the really crappy food, and it all connects. So it's like if you work out, then you want to eat better, and then your mindset will be better, and it all kind of cycles all around. And you make it sound so simple and easy, but I imagine that people get stuck really easily on some of this stuff. So with all your travels and clients and like dealing with people and seeing what their problems are, when you say you need to work out, eat better, and have that better mindset, would you say, is there like a number one or like top two areas where people really struggle, and just with your help they can get over the hump?
I call myself a mindset coach. I think that's the biggest area. And because, in our life, we've probably had some type of workout. We've all been on some kind of healthy kick at some point, but the mind can put us in situations where it can trick us. I think it's one of the craziest things that can happen is your brain can be up and down and feel like it does, like we don't really know anything. The truth is we have so much life experience, but if we don't get that mind in the gratitude, mind in looking for the positive things in life, that is where you can be more consistent, because it's going to bring you up and down if you don't have that point. So your workout can be really, really good, but if you don't bring in the mindset, you'll work out lightly someday and you work out heavy the other day because you don't feel the excitement, the vitality. Mind really connects with that. Same thing with food. Like Robert, you were saying, like eat good for a week, because sometimes that happens, like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. But your mind will say, your taste buds, aren't ready for all that good food. Isn't it be like, well, do I really want to live life like this forever? I can't do this. And anxiety can sit in because food has so much emotion wrapped around it. So if you learn to tiptoe around it, and that is using the mindset around all that, it becomes play. If you've ever seen me, Robert, which you probably have, because I'm so crazy about this stuff, I'll just put on Facebook and do Facebook Live, and I'll be dancing around. I say silly things. If I'm working with clients, if they did one little good thing, but everything else didn't work for them because they're just getting into their journey, I'm up dancing, but I'm first making sure they're connected emotionally so that they can celebrate, because that celebration expands the mindset and gratitude, expands what your worth is. Like my worth, I'm worth something. And all of that's the first pillar that I mainly work with when I first start.
Super cool. So what I'm hearing from you is that it's easy not to be positive, and as simple as it is, just having that reminder of celebrating the small wins, or saying, even if everything else today sucked, what's one thing that we can really be proud of? I mean, that's huge. And it's easy for people to say, oh, have gratitude, but then some people don't even really practice that. And I see you, like you said, all the time. I see you on Facebook Live early in the morning, live streaming, and I seem to remember to tap into that too. Like when I'm going for my walks, I'm thinking like, well, it's a great time to be alive. I like where I live, just in general, geographically. I like the part of town I'm in. I like everything around me. And it's really easy to let things slide away into negativity. And you make such a good point about how it all relates to mindset, and we need to be positive. And so something else that has me like curious about you is, we were talking just before we started recording it in the green room, I guess, so to speak, about how it's easy to be the fly on the wall, right? It's easy to be shy, timid, not ask for what we need, not put ourselves out there. So have you struggled with that too? And do you have an answer for us as far as just how to be, I don't know if aggressive is more the right term, but how to just be more social, be more of us, be more out there?
Perfect question. And that's tricky because we didn't talk about this, but you know what? This is like, I think systemically, this is one of the best questions you could be asking right now. It's about getting to know yourself. Then you can go out and network, or you can be with friends that maybe you're just getting to know that normally you'd be a wallflower and not be part of it, maybe even have social anxiety. That's wrapped around not believing in herself or feeling uncomfortable about something about herself or many things. I dealt with that. To get off my medicine, I had to work on that. I wasn't good at networking because I was not feeling good about myself. If I'd go out and I'd do a talk, if nobody came up to me, I see it now. I used to beat myself up like, oh, you should have done this. You should have done that. Well, of course, when you go out and you do something, it's never perfect. So learning that perfection is actually not good. So to get to the point you're talking about, these tools that you're using, I'll call them tools, the 3 energy revitalized pillars and the depth and the layers it goes into, it opens you up. You feel like you're going to be okay. You feel like, yes, I got this. So then you're in your heart center, and then you can go into a room and you can breathe. I'm going holistic here, Robert. I'm going to do it. You got to get those feet grounded. I'm going to be okay. And it's easier and easier the deeper you get into your wellness plan. This is where you stay off of medicine because you start listening. And if your body aches, you start saying, gosh, I love you. Not in those words, but I love you and I want to take care of you. What's going on? And you start investing in yourself. That's why I bring the cash flow with that. You can't go into networking and if you don't feel good in your clothes because you've been gaining weight or you're playing games with yourself, because sometimes we do that, our parents, we go into places. So the thing is that I'm just showing up and I can't wait to be with people because I love being around people. You will too, once you feel comfortable with yourself. You're authentically being yourself. You're showing up the same way. That's where the flow comes in the business because it aligns. No other way to do it. No other way to do it.
Super fantastic. And what I like hearing from you is it seems like you have that emphasis on how it's all connected. And sometimes people say, oh, well, the money thing is one thing or the business is one thing and then yourself is something else. But I mean, yeah. when you're running your own business, when you're an entrepreneur, like there's less of those boundaries. It all connects. And if you don't notice or listen to some of these things happening, then you might have a bad day with your spouse and then that messes up your business and then your health goes down the toilet. And who wants that? Better to keep all things like working, but also not pursue perfection, because I mean, I can relate to exactly what you're talking about. I used to do group webinars every single week, and I was never happy with the turnout, right? If 25 people showed up, I'd feel terrible. If 200 people showed up, I'd feel scared, like I better deliver. And then if it was in the middle, I'd feel sort of mediocre. I was never actually happy because it was either too much, too little, or blah. And that's no way to live. And as we were saying today, sometimes it just takes time to know our body and know our mind and know how they're interconnected, and then look into these 3 factors, these 3 pillars: the workout, the food, the mindset, and the emotion. And it really it's that simple, but then also it's a long process of maybe some trial and error and just being aware of where the problem is and new techniques that we need to tap into. And as you've alluded to a little bit here, you are this holistic mindset coach, because we can all read articles, we can all read books, or see those fun motivational, inspirational quotes on Facebook and click the like button, but that's only going to get us the tip of the iceberg. So as far as people saying, a lot of this makes sense. I want to take the next step. I want to find out more about how Rhonda can help me in my mindset and my cash flow. What sort of things do you offer in that category as far as you and your coaching and the things that you offer?
Yeah, good question. I do a couple different things right now because I have another business also. So there's like two things going on here, but it's all around the health and wellness. So there's ways I actually get out there with a group of people, and there's also my services that I do too in the health and wellness. So I have a group program, and the first thing is just to have a one-on-one conversation with me. I just need to know what you're struggling with, where are the issues around the mindset, and where do you feel stuck? And that's going to be in the body and what's happening. So then I know what you're looking for. Then it may be that you just want a gentle detox, which is kind of like a food program, just real basic. It's a month, kind of a journey. So it's a nice tiptoe. I have stuff here out of my ranch. I call it the Fresh Inspiration Ranch, Robert. I love the name. And this, out of my ranch, this is where you get grounding. This is where you do meditation. I call my days the energy revamp days. So you can come in, kind of test things I'm doing. And this is out in Sacramento. Some people travel from Oregon to, if they've known me for a while, they'll travel in here. So I've been starting to build this following. I do retreats. So you get a little bit more time. And I bring special people in to do reflexology and all that. So your entire body is being taken care of. So I partner with people. So where that goes is you sometimes maybe just need to come to my show. It's called the Fresh Inspiration Show. And you just want to start getting that mind transformation. So I usually have about 3 or 4 people with me. We're on tour, mainly around Northern California. And they're motivational speakers. And I make sure that these authors, speakers have experience so that when you're sitting in the audience, you feel like you're being taken care of. And it's like going to a movie or concert. If you like that motivational stuff, you walk in the room. I think about it as a threshold. And you walk in, you go, oh, I'm having a pretty good night. By the time you leave, you're going to be feeling fabulous. So there's many ways to connect with me.
Super cool. And I like the way you put that of it's like an experience and going to the movies, because sometimes if I'm just, I don't know, not having a good day or think could be better, or just need to change the channel mentally, right? Need to have a different way of thinking. A movie usually works. You go in and you come out of a 2-hour movie a totally different person than when you went in. You have new thoughts, things that were bothering you going in. You can't even remember what they were. And so sometimes we all just need to have that quick change of the channel. And so you have the Fresh Inspiration Show and the Fresh Inspiration Ranch. And as far as people going to some websites or starting this one-on-one conversation with you, what sorts of places should we go to after listening to this conversation today?
Yeah, I guess let's make it simple, Robert. I would love to have a one-on-one conversation. And that's an option for you. So I'm going to give you a place you can opt in, and you can just go and get some things so you learn about the Energy Revitalize pillars, and you'll get a list that shows you what kind of foods you can eat right now to unclog some areas in your body. So if you go to my website, rhondaliebig.com, so RHONDA and Liebig, so it looks like Liebig, by the way. So rhondaliebig.com, it's spelled LIEBIG.com. Go there, opt into my energy assessment. It'll help you getting in there and tiptoeing. But if you like to talk and you really want to get down to it and you're really serious about, I'm not feeling good, I want you to send a direct email to me. Say, hey, I heard you on Robert Plank, and I want to have a discussion, and I want to know more about what you're doing to be able to help me, because it's all about you. So that would be Rhonda at rhondaliebig.com. Those are the two best ways. Yeah, those 2 best ways.
All right, we're making it nice and simple. So rhondaliebig.com is the place where you can opt in and get that energy assessment. And the great thing about opting is it takes you about 5 seconds, right? You can go right now to rhondaliebig.com, opt in and get it, and then get the email follow-up from Rhonda. And if you like what she has to say, then stay subscribed. If you don't like what she has to say, it's the modern age. You can click one button and you can be out of there. You can pick and choose who your network is. But I mean, hopefully you'll opt in and stay longer and longer. And then if you feel like there's that need of urgency, or if you know yourself, and that's what this whole conversation has been about, right? Is over time you get to know yourself and what your bad thoughts are and what your good thoughts are and what makes you special and unique and how you can express yourself. So if you know yourself so well that you say, I've got to get Rhonda on the phone right now. I need that one-on-one. I need to know what my options are, and I need to maybe share with her my goals and my problems or what I think could be better or get some ideas, then that email address is Rhonda@rhondaliebig.com. And make sure that you just stay in touch with Rhonda. That way you can find out when the Fresh Inspiration show is near you, or if your travel schedule works out, where if you are from Oregon or somewhere even farther away, you can fly in or drive into Sacramento and check out her show and these motivational speakers, and just spend a good night. Instead of having a night in front of the TV with the potato chips, not feeling good, get out of the house and do something that improves your own life and your own business and all that, because it is all connected. And don't forget those 3 pillars: workout, food, and mindset. And so as we are wrapping things up and winding things down on this 700th milestone episode, Rhonda, is there anything else that you think we left out or that comes to mind, or that you just want to say as some last words for people?
Yeah, if you do want to go to one of the shows, you can go to the website and get a ticket. And it's thefreshinspirationshow.com. And I want to leave you with a motivation, kind of a mindset here. That I love this quote, and it's an anonymous one. And it's something to the effect of, if you do everything the way you're doing it right now, you're going to expect the same results that you've been getting. And that's when things start shifting. So when you start shifting, things are going to change for you. And that's where you start learning the trust. If you stay the same way, that trust is going to be confusing, and you're going to tiptoe in and come right back. Tiptoe in and come back. Go in, do something new, and keep going and figure out where that flow goes for you. That trust will really build. You're going to get to know yourself, and you're going to make some massive changes if you're ready for it.
I love it. That's great advice. And so mix things up, and that way you know what to trust, and you can trust that process. So that is thefreshinspirationshow.com and rhondaliebig.com. And we'll see you there. And thanks, Rhonda, for stopping by and taking the time and giving us a lot of solutions and ideas. I really like it.
Me too, Robert. I love hanging out with you. So I love that I've been on 2 episodes. 700 is a celebration. Episode 700. Woo-woo!
Thanks for listening to today's program. Start from the beginning or view past episodes at marketeroftheday.com/episodes.